You're always going to have to wonder about things like cheating or boundaries or anything like that. And if anything gets tough, you're not going to be able to trust her to tell you the truth, and that's not good, right? All right, so let's get into number 5. Is that she's overtly deceptive, okay? And she has awareness about the lies, and it's over important stuff. I make all these clarifications because here's a red pilling thing, and you can go into my go search on Apex Mindset about how to just type in lying. Okay, I did a video on how to spot lies and the different types of lies. But when you start to learn about these sorts of things, especially in environments I've been in, where you're learning what interrogators do and you're learning, how to do things, whatever, how human behavior is, you begin to realize that everybody lies. All right. You begin to realize that lying is a normal human pattern of behavior. So that's sort of a red pilling that you have to sort of come to terms with. And that includes your girl. Your girl lies. Now, the question is, though, a lot of times she's deceptive to herself. And so that's where maybe she needs to be called out on some things, right? That's where maybe she needs to look at things a little differently. But being deceptive onto herself, it happens. I'm not saying you should accept it, but that's not quite the same as overtly lying to you to avoid a problem. If that's what she does and she's overtly manipulating, overtly lying to you, you need to really consider the relationship you're in. All right. So I'm not saying end it immediately because of one situation like that. You may decide to do that, but you got to really evaluate the entire circumstance. And if she's somebody who's just going to overtly lie to you no matter what and shows no willingness or capability of changing that, then you're not going to have a healthy dynamic with her. You're always going to have to look over your shoulder. You're always going to have to wonder about things like cheating or boundaries or anything like that. And if anything gets tough, you're not going to be able to trust her to tell you the truth, and that's not good, right? So number six is baits you into behaving poorly and then blame shifts. This goes back to blame shifting. I talked about a little more, so I won't linger on this point too much. But it's where she does a thing to you. It's, again, I actually just gave the example without even meaning to ahead of time. But number 6 is like, it's that example again, kicking the bear in the face and then wondering why you got mauled. All right. So that's knowing your trigger points, knowing your pressure points, pressing those pressure points to get you to react. And then when you don't react in the perfect way, right? Maybe you react in the wrong way, right? Then it's, I'm the victim. So women tend to, being that they've evolved as the physically less dominant, weaker of the sexes, women have gotten better at social interactions and persuasion and then even manipulation and deception. Okay. So where I say men are violent, well, women are deceptive. All right. So men are physically more dominant, can be physically violent, can, fall to coercion to try to solve a problem, which society doesn't accept and doesn't allow too much anymore, which is not a bad thing, but that's our male evolved way of handling things. A female evolved way of handling things is to fall to deception and manipulation. Okay. And to play games and people against each other and play yourself against yourself and all that kind of stuff. And if that's her default, if she, tends to do things that are out of bounds and that are, and there are a lot of times it's a combination of small things. It's things that would seem like they're under the radar more or less, but they're hitting trigger points, and she's doing them either intentionally, unintentionally, doesn't even matter, but especially if it's intentionally, though, that's a big red flag. And she does these things and you react in a certain way. And the way that you're reacting, maybe you need to fix your reaction. Maybe the reaction isn't good, but that doesn't get her a pass, right? But what she'll do is she'll take that reaction, your bad reaction, and then she'll be, I can't believe that you treated me like this. She is now in the victim role. So she has power over you through victimhood, is what it boils down to. By being a victim of your behavior, she now has the upper hand in the relationship to get what she wants. Remember, men and women evolved not to complement each other in a peaceful way, but in a divisive manner. We have to use our human brains, not our chimp evolved brains, to transcend that. And so for her to get power over you, a lot of women learn to do this as a default, is to get power through basically being the victim or being the person who is assaulted. And they do that by baiting the person into assaulting them. All right. I don't mean physically, although that would be really bad and you should never physically assault a woman. But I'm just talking about emotionally, mentally, verbally. Right. And so that's a major thing that you need to recognize. And a lot of guys are caught in that, constantly blaming themselves all the time. Oh, I can't, I'm such a bad, I can't believe I did this. I do this, do that. The guys will come to me all the time with their list of things that they can't, I'm doing all these things wrong. I have my anxiety's high. I don't know what to do. A lot of times though, the woman isn't helping. And in fact, is the person playing puppet master in that situation by baiting this guy and stimulating and fueling these responses. That's a toxic dynamic. That's an oil and water situation that's never going to work well, because a lot of times she does these things because you're allowing it. Actually, I would say every time she is. Either she's going to do it no matter what you do, which means it needs to be an ended relationship, or it means that there's something that you can do that will cause the chain reaction of her changing some of these patterns, right? And some of them are non-negotiable. Like some of the numbers here I'm mentioning are kind of non-negotiable things in a sense, but some of them are workable. And what would make that work would be actually frame, and having frame in your relationship, and knowing how to execute frame in the right way. A lot of you guys think you have it, but you don't. All right, because you don't. Because if you had it, you wouldn't have these problems.